Hey, everybody. Someone logged into one of my other meeting rooms and it blocked me from being able to get in here. So I had to go on another device and close down that other room to get everybody over here. I guess they had the wrong address. Anyway, thank you all for being here and welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. So let me go live on Facebook and we can get this party started. Okay. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Huh. I normally have assistants who are here to help me with this, but not today. So bear with me one more moment. Hmm. All right. Well, that's not going to work. Okay. So we're going live on my page. Meeting is being recorded. Meeting is being live streamed. Let me mute this other recording. And then we can get the show through. Meeting is being recorded. Meeting is being live streamed. Here we go. All righty. So welcome. Wait, I got two more people waiting to enter. Let's see. Beth and Peggy. And we have a few more. So in case I haven't met you, my name is Lynn, and my journey with the Akashic Records has been nothing short of extraordinary. I learned about the Akashic Records when I was 11 years old. My mom had given me a copy of a book that was chronicling the life of Edgar Cayce called The Sleeping Prophet. Have any of you read that book? Extraordinary. And in the book, it talked about how Edgar Cayce would go deeply into a trance and he would bring back information that came from the Akashic Records. And I remember reading that at the time and going, why does this seem so familiar? I became obsessed with everything metaphysical. And at that time, there were like Shirley MacLaine's books talking about spirituality. There was Chariots of the Gods by a man named Eric von Daykin. There were the Seth Materials by Jane Roberts. This was like the early 70s. And it just began this lifelong kind of obsession with everything to do with anything that was metaphysical that I could get my hands on. And I eventually, in 1989, came across this organization called Power Leadership, got trained to read the Akashic Records, got trained to do past life healing work with people, and just became absolutely obsessed because it explained so many things for me in my life and so many things in other people's lives as well. And then in 2017, a girlfriend of mine, Tiffany Soto, and it's so funny, Tiffany and I had reason to message with each other today. And I said, I mention you almost weekly when I'm talking about the Akashic Records. She posted online saying she had just been trained to read the Akashic Records and did I want a reading? And you may ask, what does this have to do with ESP enhancement and your and your clairs? But I'll tell you, here's what it is. With all of the training that I had received, when you go in and when you learn how to read the Akashic Records, when you learn that you have an ability to see in the records, to feel in the records, to heal in the records, and to know in the records, every time you're willing to face your fears, every time that you're willing to take a look at all the places that you have been afraid to see, to hear, to know, and to feel things, you open yourself up. And as you do, your psychic abilities go through the roof. So Tiffany did a reading for me. I found out that she learned from someone who had learned from someone who had learned from someone who learned from a woman named Linda Howe, who wrote the quintessential book that was called How to Read the Akashic Records. It's an orange book. And in it, Linda has a prayer that you say that will allow you to enter the records. Now, it's not the only way to enter the records. Hey, Peggy. Um, but it is one of the ways. And it's one of the ways that I teach because when I got into the records, one of the things that I was told is that I was a guardian of the records. And being a guardian of the records for me meant that I had a responsibility to the records to not only teach people how to access them, but to help people clear out of the way whatever was in the way. And here's what happens. You have a lifetime where you are a seer, you hear messages from spirit, you see visions from spirit, you just know information, you can feel anybody ever have that thing where you can feel when spirit is present because you get the hair stands up on end or the temperature changes in the room? Anybody ever have that? So I then created a technique that I'm going to work through with you all today of how to measure your clairs, how to measure 4 of your clairs, and then how to kind of move the needle. So when I first started, we measured people from 0 to 10, and then people started hitting tens, and I was like, okay, 0 to 100. And then it went from 0 to 500, and then it went from 0 to 1,000. And I have students that have done so much work that their numbers are now over 10,000. And we look at what your lowest clair is. And, if you had a lifetime where your eyes were gouged out for your visions, you may not want to use your clairvoyance. So when people are blocked with their clairvoyance or their clairaudience, we go in and work on the third eye because there's usually something that's surrounding and keeping the third eye closed. If people have trouble with clairsentience and feeling spirit, we'll go in and work on the heart. Or if they have issues, we will go in and work on the crown. So this is very simple. I'm going to ask each of you to get a pen and paper or some way that you can write down the answers to the questions that I'm going to ask you. And the questions that I'm going to be asking you are on a scale of, we'll start with 100 today. I'm being guided to use the number 100. So on a scale of 0 to 100, you're going to tell me what your measurement is for each of your clairs. So I want you to write down CA for clairaudience. I want you to write down CV for clairvoyance. I want you to write down CS for clairsentience. And then I want you to write down CC for claircognizance. So clairaudience is your ability to hear messages from spirit. Here's an example. I'm heading off to work one day, and this voice says to me, take an extra pair of stockings. I'm 22. I know I'm going out that night. I'm wearing a black dress. I'm wearing black stockings. And I'm going out directly to go dancing after work to meet some friends. And I'm like, I'm not taking an extra pair of stockings. What a bizarre suggestion. And the voice says a second time, take an extra pair of stockings. And I'm like, I'm busy getting ready for work. I know that the third time a message comes through, I have to act on it. And I'm like, okay. So I went and I grabbed an extra pair of stockings. I didn't have black stockings. I only had nude stockings. And I was like, all right, it's fine. Let's go. My girlfriend Mary calls me and she goes, hey, you want to meet me at, I think it was the Rusty Pelican was the name of it, for lunch? And I'm like, yeah, it's Friday. I love, Boston clam chowder. So we meet for lunch and everything is in like a nautical motif, including wooden chairs. And it just so happens that the wooden chair I'm sitting on has a broken piece of wood. And as I go to stand up, my stockings run. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I grab my purse, go into the bathroom, change my stocking, going from black stockings to nude. Thankful that I had listened to that voice that said, take an extra pair of stockings. So can you relate to that? Clairaudience. When my psychic abilities started opening up even more after a trip to Egypt, where I laid my hands on a grave and a golden shaft of light came down and the guy in the grave started talking to me. I'm with one of my girlfriends a few months later. This was 2009. And this voice starts talking to me. And I'm passing messages on to my girlfriend, and it turns out that it's the dead boss that she had, a doctor that she worked for, who died in Mexico when he went to save his son from the undertow. And I had all these abilities, and she's like, I didn't know you could talk to the dead. And I said, neither did I. But, voices come through. They'll tell you things. Then the clairsentience for me shows up when I get cold and I can tell there's spirit present because they exist at a different frequency that for me feels cold. And claircognizance is when you just know stuff. So, another clairvoyance was my sister's best friend says, my dad died. My sister says, you're able to talk to the dead. I want to talk to my dad. And the dad starts showing me pictures of giraffes, wooden giraffes, glass giraffes, like statues of giraffes, all these giraffes. And I said to her, your father's showing me giraffes. And she goes, giraffes aren't any giraffes. And I'm like, all right, well, the other messages were like, I love you. And, please take care of your mom. So Jill, my sister's best friend, goes back to her mom and says, I tried to have Pam's sister, talk to dad, but she just kept talking about giraffes. And the mother says, your father and I have a collection of over 50 giraffes. She's like, you do? She goes, yeah. Goes to this curio cabinet, opens it up, and here's all the giraffes. She had no idea. So when they come through with evidence to try and show you that it's actually them. Makes sense? So they'll show you images. They'll tell you stuff. They'll, have you feel things. They'll have you remember things. Songs will come on the radio. There are so many ways they're trying to give you evidence of their existence. They're trying to talk to you. There's a technique that I've created called psychic surgery, like an energy healing technique to go in and look at the places where you're blocked. So I'll bring one of you up to do that. So you guys ready to measure your clairs? Now, here's the deal. You have to take the first number that comes to you. I literally will have people and I'll work with them and I'll say, actually, can I have one of you as somebody who's willing to come on camera, who's willing to walk through this with me? Somebody type yes in the notes if you're willing to come on and do this with me. Colleen? Okay, great. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Hey.
Hi, Lynn.
All right. So clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, and claircognizance. Clairaudience is the ability to hear messages from spirit beyond the physical ears. Clairvoyance is the ability to see images from spirit beyond the physical eyes. Clairsentience is where you can feel messages from spirit, feel the presence of spirit beyond the normal five senses. And claircognizance is where you just know information. The first time I heard somebody say that they were ordained in the order of Melchizedek, like a thunderbolt hit me, and I knew that that was the order that Jesus had been ordained in. And I had never learned that. I had never read that. He's confirmed it to me since. So on a scale of 0 to 100, so here's the thing. Just tell me the first number that comes to you. Don't think about it. And you'll have people that'll pause and I'll say, okay, don't give me the second number. What's the first number? And they're like, how do you know? Just give me the first number that comes to you. So everybody ready? You got your pen and paper ready? Okay. On a scale of 0 to 100, at what level is your clairaudience?
20.
20?
Mm-hmm.
On a scale of 0 to 100, at what level is your clairvoyance?
80.
Thank you. On a
You want
scale
this?
of 0 to 100, at what level is your clairsentience?
90.
I know that you're doubting it as it's coming out. Don't worry about it. Just let it be what
Okay.
it is. Okay. I know we mind fuck ourselves. We just do. By the way, I'm a New Yorker and I curse. If that's not your style, you're welcome to leave, but it's my style. So I am as God made me. On a scale of 0 to 100, at what level is your claircognizance?
100.
Beautiful. So it's probably higher, but we're going to start with your clairaudience because your clairaudience was at 20. So it could very well be that there were messages that you heard and there was a lifetime where you were put to death for that. and you're like, fuck it, I'm never going to use that again. I've had that happen countless times with people. Okay. So you willing to go in and work on this?
Mhm.
Okay. I want you to close your eyes. Everybody, please close your eyes. We're going to do a breathing technique to take you guys out of, we're going to take you out of beta, which is like consciousness, and we're going to move you up into alpha, and then we're going to move you up into theta. And Kim, I'm just going to mute you for a moment while we do the breathing because I'm just getting a little feedback. No, I mean Colleen. Okay. Okay. All right. So take an inhale in through your nose, a nice, deep, rich inhale in through the nose. Let it circulate through the body. Pause at the top, and then go ahead and exhale and release. And as you do, start to drop your consciousness down toward your heart. Beautiful. Take another nice, deep, rich inhale in through the nose. And then exhale and release, drifting further down towards the heart. Another rich inhale in through the nose, breathing in, letting it fill you up completely. And then exhale and release. Next, I want you to imagine breathing in white light. Breathe this white light in. Breathe it in. Let it fill you up from the top of the head all the way to the feet. And then exhale and release darkness, whatever darkness is attached to you. Anywhere that you feel any tension, anxiety, worries, concerns, just let it all go with that exhale. Once again, imagine breathing in white light, prana, chi, ki, life force. Breathe it in, breathe it in, breathe it in. Pause at the top, and then exhale and release any darkness. Anything that's had your attention, just let it all go, continuing to drift towards the heart. Take another inhale in of white light, life force energy. Breathe it in, breathe it in, breathe it in. And then as you exhale and release any darkness with it, continuing to move towards the heart. Take another inhale in, and this time I want you to imagine breathing in golden light, like God's golden light, like fairy dust. Breathe that golden light in, let it circulate throughout the body, and you may start to feel a tingling in the fingers and the toes. You're activating the light body inside of the physical body. And then go ahead and exhale that same golden light. Take another inhale in of that gorgeous golden light. Let it circulate, and then go ahead and exhale that golden light. You're now shifting into your heart. You're shifting into a theta state. Take another inhale in of that gorgeous golden light. Breathe it in, breathe it in, breathe it in. Feel the lightness that comes with it, and go ahead and exhale that same golden light, completely resting in the heart. So, theta is the realm of pure imagination. We are taught in school reading, writing, and arithmetic to occupy the mind, to keep us in a beta mind. It keeps us away from the realm of imagination. When we were young, we had imaginary friends. We were told that they weren't real and that they didn't exist, but they were, and they are, and they do. So, this breathing cycle will bring you back to a theta mind. And in the theta mind, you have reached the quantum realm. You have reached the realm of pure imagination. Colleen, I want you to take an inhale into your third eye. And on your exhale, I want you to move back about 2 inches into the center of your head. And there's an enormous cave there, known as the Cave of Brahman. So, for each of you that are doing this with us, come into the center of your head. That's where your third eye is. So, Colleen, there is something that's covering your third eye. And I want you to give me the first answer that comes to you when I ask you the following questions. Can you please unmute yourself, love? Okay. What color is the object that's covering your third eye?
Either black or green, I'm not sure.
Okay. Could be a combination. It's fine. What shape is it?
Round.
Thank you. Is it round like a disc or is it round like a sphere, like a ball?
Ball.
Thank you. How big is the ball?
Tiny.
Thank you. How much does it weigh?
Like a penny.
Okay. Thank you. What temperature is it?
Cold.
Thank you. Does it have any sensation or movement to it?
Hmm.
Okay. What material is it made of?
Like a stone.
Okay. And what is its purpose?
Action.
Thank you. So, Colleen, I just want to answer your question where you asked about the voice that's inside the head. So, there are actually two voices. There's the voice that is the voice of the ego, the one that wants to keep you very body bound. And there is a voice that is the voice of the Holy Spirit, shall we say. It's the voice of your soul, your higher self, your guidance. When you listen to the voice that comes immediately, you're talking to your soul. When you listen to the one that wants to say, though, no, those numbers are too high, that can't be right, that's where the ego tries to kick in. Okay. So, Colleen, I want you to take an inhale in and I want you to dive into this little round ball and tell me what are the feelings and emotions that are inside of it.
It's flowy, but it's like sad.
Sad. Thank you. It's flowy, but it's like sad. I want you to actually dive into the sadness and allow yourself to just feel what's there. Just allow yourself to feel that sadness. Take another inhale in. What other feelings are inside of that little ball?
Anger.
Anger. Thank you. Take another inhale in. On your exhale, feel into the anger. Just allow yourself to breathe into it. Every time we allow ourselves to feel these emotions that are trapped inside of us, we begin to free ourselves from it. There's a saying that to feel it is to heal it, and that's exactly what we're doing. Thank you. Take another inhale in. What other feelings and emotions are inside of this little ball?
I think that's it.
Okay. Take an inhale in, and on your exhale, I want you to surround this little ball with a field of love. Imagine just completely surrounding it with love. Take another inhale in, and then on your exhale, very gently and very easily, I want you to move this little ball of energy out of you. So it comes right out of the center of your forehead until it goes about 3 feet in front of you. Did it go all the way out? What's so funny?
Like,
Is it stuck? Okay. So then there's a feeling or emotion that you haven't addressed yet. So take another inhale, go back into it. What other feelings and emotions are trapped inside of it?
That need to protect.
Thank you. What is it trying to protect?
Me.
Thank you. What is it trying to protect you from?
At first, I got too much. I'm like, too much what?
Too much what?
Mm. Feeling it would be too much to have all of them.
Thank you. Colleen, see if it will tell you what happened that made you close all this down. What happened the last time you had all of them opened?
Not being accepted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who was it that
Was
didn't?
it that didn't?
Was it what?
Who was it that
Was
didn't
it
accept you?
People close to me.
Thank you. And what did they do to you?
Pushed me away.
Thank you. So, what decision did you make as a result of that about your gift?
Close it down.
Thank you. Are you willing to reopen your gift of clairaudience?
I am.
Okay, very good. So take another inhale. And on your exhale, see if you can now move that ball, that sphere of energy out of you. Did it move out?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Now take another inhale in, and on your exhale, turn it white. And as you turn it white, it's going to completely disappear. Beautiful. Were you able to turn it completely white? Gorgeous. Now I want you to ask one of the fairies to borrow their fairy wand, and I want you to tap your third eye with the fairy wand and allow it to be healed from the place where you had the blockage. That beautiful golden fairy dust comes in and it heals it. Okay. You can go ahead and open your eyes. And we're going to try measuring your clairs again. Okay. Just tell me the first number that comes. I'll write them down. Okay. On a scale of 0 to 100, at what level is your clairaudience?
30.
Thank you. On a scale of 0 to 100, at what level is your clairvoyance?
80.
Thank you. On a scale of 0 to 100, at what level is your clairsentience?
90.
Thank you. On a scale of 0 to 500, at what level is your claircognizance?
300.
Thank you. Yeah, we just didn't get the full number on it. Okay. So your clairaudience moved 10 points, and Your claircognizance was higher. That's why it reached the limit of 100. But there's a place, an incident that happened where you close down your clairaudience and you're starting to move the dial on it. But this is how you will continue to open up your clairs. There was something that you heard, a message that you received, you communicated it, and it ostracized you from a lot of people. You may even have been put to death over it and made the decision not to hear messages from spirit anymore because of what it cost you. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So this very, very simple technique is called psychic surgery. And it's one of the techniques that we teach that allow you to really start to open up all of your psychic abilities. You are all born psychic. You are all born gifted. And what has happened is there's just been through multiple lifetimes, times when you have closed down those abilities. And you can go back and you can find out where the energy is blocked and trapped, and you can open it up. And there's, a lot more in-depth work that you can do with this. Does anybody have any questions?
Lynn, do you use that same technique for any of the clairs? Like trying to go back from your to where your third eye is and
No, for clairaudience and clairvoyance, I use the third eye. For clairsentience, I go into the heart. And then for claircognizance, I go into the crown, the third chakra. The crown chakra.
okay.
Because for the third eye, which is the seventh chakra, that's going to be what regulates what you allow yourself to see and what you allow yourself to hear. The pineal and the pituitary glands, and where you have closed those down. Imagine Joan of Arc hears messages, hears these voices, leads France to victory, and then they go, okay, well, thank you very much for your service, but we've decided you're a witch, and we're going to burn you at the stake. Is she likely to want to use those abilities again in the next lifetime? Not so much. People close things down. I have a woman that I work with, very gifted shaman, but her clairvoyance was very, very low. And we went in and we found out a lifetime where she had been a medicine woman for an Indian tribe. And it had been like 2 generations that had gone through. And hold on a second. Sorry, just had a momentary distraction. So she had been the medicine woman for a tribe. It had been 2 generations. So all the elders that she had, been with had all crossed over. And the younger generation was like, old lady, you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. And she kept telling them how she had this visions that the marauders were going to come and wipe out the tribe. And everyone was like, you're crazy. That's not going to happen. So the day it's supposed to happen, according to her vision, she goes and she hides out in a cave. And when she comes back, the tribe's been wiped out except for a few people. And they were like, you did this. You made this happen. You didn't foresee this. You actually called it to us. And they took 2 pieces of wood that they burned hot like embers. And then they put them on her eyes and burnt her eyes out. And then they left her. And she willed herself to die and made a decision in that lifetime to never use her clairvoyance again, to never use her vision again. And what happens is it's much like when a person is deaf and then they'll have other heightened senses. So sometimes what'll happen is one of your other senses will be really heightened to make up for, the fact that one of them is lower. So for you, Colleen, because your clairaudience is really low, your claircognizance would be off the scale at 300 because it's making up for the places where you don't necessarily want to hear the messages from spirit, but you're willing to just receive them as knowledge or wisdom. Make sense? So if learning how to do this, because I teach people how to do this, is anything that you're interested in, I've got a couple opportunities for you. Alicia Mooney and I, one of the women that I work with very closely, are going to be leading a course that we're calling the Akashic Records Immersion Course. It's going to have 3 levels to it. First level is where you're a student and you learn how to read the records. The second level is where you become a healer and we teach you these techniques for how to open up even more. And then the third level is for teachers, for people that want to learn to how to read the records, how to do past life healing in the records, and also how to do that work with other people. So that's where you're going to learn how to do Akashic healing. So if that's anything that you're interested in, I have the information available. It's going to be a really incredible course. It's going to happen over 3 months. And, I'm here a lot. You can come and receive, guidance here. And if you would ever want to work personally, I do one-on-one mentoring work with people. I have a lot of different ways to work with me. Do you guys have any other questions at this time? Let's see. Anything else that I can answer? All right. I thank you all for being here. All right. I'm going to type in really quickly. I think this is the link. www.soulmasteryuniversity. Jesus is one of the beings that I channel, and he has told me that within my lifetime, I'm supposed to get this information out to about 1 million people. And I think I'm at like 267 people. So I have a lot of work to do. So if any of you want to get trained, please come and join me. It would be my absolute delight. And then I've trained a lot of people who are now off teaching. It's important work, you know. Beth, I've taken this course with Lynn. It was amazing. Aw, hi, sweetheart. Highly recommend. Popped in today as a refresher and beginning commitments with myself to begin proctoring daily again. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. I love you, and it's delightful to have you here. Yeah, that was a really fun course. Listen, every student that I teach, like I take you guys into my heart. You're with me, practicing daily. Yeah, listen, do this work on yourself. Go in and measure your clairs. Just ask. I have my students every single week. I say, start the week out by measuring your clairs. Oh, here comes Kelsey. Just in time for us to, no, Kelsey went away. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. Shabbat Shalom to anyone who practices. There's a couple of more exciting things that are happening. Taking off to go to Egypt with a whole bunch of people. We're going to do a cruise on the Nile. We're going to be teaching people how to read the Akashic records while they're there. We're going to do work inside of the temples. It's going to be remarkable. We're doing a retreat in Charleston in September. We're doing a retreat in Costa Rica in December. And then we have this immersion course. And then Linda and I and a whole bunch of our friends are going to be doing a very, very exciting 3-month book club where we're going to be working with some materials that were channeled through quantum healing hypnosis, through Dolores Cannon's techniques. And they brought through information about the Essenes, about Mary Magdalene, about all of the women and, all the work that Magdalene did. Yeshua has said that Magdalene went from being her greatest student to being his greatest teacher. And she's just extraordinary. She's one of I think I'm up to 14 beings that I channel. And she's one of them. She's pretty amazing. So all of this, again, is on my website. It's soulmasteryuniversity.com. And hi, Sophie. If there's any way that I can be of assistance, please reach out. I'm so accessible. Like if you can't find me, you're not looking hard enough. Like my phone number, this woman called me the other day. She goes, I found you on TikTok. I'm like, my phone number was on TikTok. And she goes, no, but I Googled you and there was your phone number. And she said, I want to learn to read the Akashic records. And guidance says to me, invite her to Egypt. And I said, well, as a matter of fact, I'm taking a bunch of people to Egypt. And she's like, okay, I'm in. Like in 3 days, spent the weekend thinking about it. She signed up. She was the last person that we had to come join us on this trip. So people come from all over. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and I do these pretty much every week. So if there's any way that I can be of assistance, don't let anything stop you. We will find a way. I promise. I love you all. I thank you so much for being here. I wish you a very, very delightful weekend. And I will see you all again soon. And Beth, it's so good to see you, my love. Thank you, everybody. Take care.